Shan Vicius. She's the head of Decriminalize Nature's Hazel Park chapter. Thank you so much, Shan.
Thanks.
And do you have a presentation? Do you want to?
It should, if you just keep clicking, yep, it's all on.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Shan, and I just want to thank everybody for even inviting me here and having the privilege and opportunity to speak with everybody. I have a journalism degree. I'm a writer by trade. I'm a mother. My perspective, I notice, is a convergence of everybody's talk so far. Basically, my job at this conference is to be the converging, connecting piece to all of these elements. We have the entrepreneurial element, we have the cultural element, Baba Kilindi, of course. I'm a student of Baba Kilindi. I met him back in 2020. No, I think it was 2019 actually. And he taught me how to cultivate mushrooms better. From that point on, I became an entrepreneur and a beacon and a guide for others to learn how to grow and cultivate their own medicine. This led me to using this medicine on my...
Decrim Nature Hazel Park. So I founded Decrim Nature Hazel Park in 2020, and this was creating a safe place for people in my area. Basically, we needed to make sure that people weren't going to go to jail for using this medicine for anxiety, for depression, for just trying to get through their day. I started this group in 2020. I connected with Decrim Nature in Michigan. They've been very supportive in everything that I do. They gave me the foundation and the groundwork, and I was able to make connections with the city of Hazel Park. I started canvassing. I used my social media just to put the information out there about exactly what psilocybin can do, what this medicine can do, why we need it, and why it's important for Black people to have this medicine. After 2 years of canvassing and doing this work, we were successful. And our city did decriminalize on March 22nd last year. So you can use entheogenic. But how did I integrate this medicine with my family? That's why I'm here. I started my own microdose schedule. Okay, this is an example from February of this year. I actually have one for April now. But this is my dosing regimen. I actually leave this out on my page for all of my followers to see for free. And that way they can make their own schedule. This is a practical way to use the psilocybin medicine. So it's cool to have, these 7-gram trips and trip out for 8 to 10 hours. Not all of us have that time. We are moms, we're dads, we're working. Sometimes we just need a little microdose to help us get over whatever we're experiencing that day. Having a set schedule will kind of help guide you on what days it's best to take your microdose. So I have my microdoses on days that are the most stressful for me and my children. I have 2 children now. So when they have, gymnastics, I make sure I dose that day, or whatever hyperactivity we have going on that day that's stressful, I dose. This calendar can be adjusted, and we all know the microdose range is going to be different for every person. Some people 0.10 is perfect. Some people, their body chemistry, their endocannabinoid system might be a little bit different, so they might have to take a higher dosage. No. We just leave that open for you to determine. Microdosing has helped me engage in more childlike play with my own children, increased my empathy with them, and just being able to see the world from their perspective. Okay. Microdosing has helped me apply new solutions to old problems. So, my dishwasher, perfect example. I learned how to rearrange the dishwasher to make it simpler for me and just easier for me to get in and out, rather than spending so much time and on these mundane tasks that could really just go through really, really fast if we have the right tools. Microdosing has increased my intimacy with my partner. We do have a better sex life. We're able to communicate better. Lucia said a lot about this too. That is true. I am the practical version of this actually happening. Sometimes you might have to schedule intimacy with your partner because this is real life. We don't have 8 to 10 hours all the time to do these things. It's a microdose form. Microdosing has increased my relationship with nature. We are more apt to do things as a family now. I teach my children how to identify plants and trees. We take more walks outside together. We do family yoga. Like, this is part of the spiritual side of doing this medicine. Okay. We do keep a family altar at our home. This is a connecting piece for us from the spirit world into our physical world. And we are integrating more plants into our diet. So this is an automatic gut biome correction. You guys know if you take mushrooms, not everything you eat is going to settle with it. Sometimes the mushrooms say no and they throw those things out of your body. You have to learn how to integrate the right medicines in with the medicine, literally, food medicines. There's other entheogens that I also use. I use ghost pipe, belladonna, doTERRA, kava kava. I believe in using all the entheogens and microdosing all of them. Psilocybin has a lot of great benefits, but so do other entheogens that just might suit the situation better for us. So I definitely encourage people to experiment and figuring out which entheogens work best for you. And there's different methods of ingestion for psilocybin. Psilocybin is actually really versatile. You can make it into teas, drinks, chocolates, tinctures. As long as you don't burn off those analogs, which we typically say is anything above 175 degrees, you can put this medicine into other things. You can make a regular meal, chicken Alfredo, and put psilocybin in it, and you will experience things from it. And then we have fresh journeys versus dry journeys. A lot of people don't have access to get fresh trips, unfortunately, but I highly recommend doing a fresh trip. It is completely different than a dry journey. It's typically 4 to 10 hours or so. And in this wet state of the mushroom, it's much easier to add it to other foods for consumption. It tastes much better. And there's just parts of the trip that you won't experience during a dry trip. So accessibility. Accessibility is really important, especially for people of color. This is why I was just telling you guys about teaching the 3 classes in Detroit. In Michigan, we have been privileged enough to decriminalize 4 cities: Ann Arbor, Detroit, Hazel Park, and Ferndale. We are actually opening up event spaces as well. So I am partnered with someone who created an event on Wednesday nights in the city of Detroit, which is a predominantly black city. We made this space so that black people can come and have access to getting medicine. And they can just experience the culture and experience what it feels like to be accepted in the psychedelic movement. There's not a lot of spaces right now, but they are coming. And it's up to us to create these spaces. So Siren Farms is one of those, Craft Cannabis in Detroit is one of those, and we're always doing new events all the time. For ACO DMT, I just wanted to bring this up because there's a flood of products coming onto the market. Everybody wants to try psilocybin. We're putting it in different products, we're putting it in chocolates, we're putting it in drinks. That's all great, but there's also some synthetic products out there as well. We have to be aware that the synthetic products do not produce the same type of journey that you're expecting from a psilocybin natural trip. Some of the things that I've heard, I personally do have over 500 patients of my own, and they report back to me most of the time their experience when they try new products from different people. A lot of them are negative trip reports. A lot of them report that they have physical illness. A lot of them say that their trip duration is shorter or just it ends abruptly and it's very monotonous. So for ACO DMT is not the same as a natural psilocybin trip. So just be aware of that and make sure that your own patients are aware of what they're consuming. And then ways to integrate. From this point on, basically my presentation is about practical ways for the average person, like myself, who came from a classic middle-class suburban background. My dad was a worker at GM. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. Like, nothing too high. We are jumping from that world into this world. That is a big transition for the common person. It is a big transition for even me. So me giving these baby steps to the average person to learn how to make that transition is what this is about. I encourage people to take a journal and write down your dosage and your strain when you are journeying. It's very important. I ask people to summarize in 3 words their experience during this journey. Talk about what their most challenging part was and what their most rewarding part was. This is all important because this whole thing is self-perpetuated. There's nobody coming behind us to say, hey, did you take your microdose today? Hey, did you make sure you got up and did some somatic movement today? This is all self-propelled in the inside. Other ways to integrate, prioritizing your thoughts. A lot of stuff comes up when we're journeying. It's overwhelming. I would highly suggest you pick a short list of 3 things that may have come up repeatedly during your journey so you can reflect on those later. And if you want to create a plan of action, create a plan of action. No matter how big or small, writing down your goals is setting intention, period. Doesn't matter how big they are or how small they are. I also highly advise people create realistic calendar reminders and alerts so they can check in on themselves and just to be patient with yourself. Explore mindful movement like yoga, exercising, dancing. Create an altar dedicated to your choosing. Practice meditation and breath work. And go to therapy if you need to go to therapy. I still go to therapy. I highly encourage it. And other ways. Cannabis use is a part of psilocybin use for me personally. The smoke from the cannabis takes my messages up to my ancestors. That's the way I see it. And every time I'm using cannabis, it's a sacrament to my ancestors in conjunction with my psilocybin. So I also encourage people to light candles. This is for your set and setting phase. Take a cleansing bath. Ground yourself to the earth. And do whatever you need to do to seek your spiritual peace. And in conclusion, that's it.